ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి జేఈఈ అయినా నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.
Hello students, now for the last class we studied about C3 pathway and that is called Melvin-Kelvin cycle, also called as PCR cycle. What is PCR? Photosynthetic carbon reduction cycle, also called as RPP, reductive pentose phosphate cycle. So who is a scientist who studied Melvin-Kelvin? So C3 pathway also called as Kelvin cycle and such type of plants are called C3 plants. Now continuation of that, let us study about C4 pathway, and C4 pathway observed in case of C4 plants. Now exactly where are we? So you remember we discussed about photosynthesis. Now photosynthesis has light reaction as well as we have a dark reaction, right? One second, light reaction, dark reaction. If you take, so if you take light reaction and dark reaction, now if you take the light reaction, you studied about non-cyclic electron transport system and also studied about cyclic electron transport system. What we have studied? Non-cyclic electron transport system, cyclic electron transport system, right? Photosynthesis has two phases. Then what are generated here? It's nothing but ATP and NADPH2. Now these two are used in dark reaction, itself is called as carbon dioxide fixation. Now in carbon dioxide fixation, in some plants what occurs is called C3 pathway, as I told you now, also called Kelvin cycle. It occurs, such type of plants are called C3 plants. Now we completed this. For the last class, Kelvin cycle C3 pathway is completed. Then carbon dioxide fixation in some plants, it occurs by following a C4 pathway, and such type of plants are called C4 plants. Now we are here, we need to continue our class with what is C4 pathway and how it takes place in C4 plants. This is what we have to continue our class. And there is one more called as CAM pathway, and that occurs in called as CAM plants, also called as C2 pathway, right? So these are the different ways of fixation of carbon dioxide in dark reaction. This is what we completed. We are here in the C4 pathway. Let us continue with C4 pathway. Now C4 pathway, first time if you look at here, there are scientists like Hutchuk, Hart and Burr. Now a combination of three scientists. Who are the three scientists? Hutchuk and Hart and Burr are the three scientists. They discovered the first stable product, in sugarcane. It is not PGA, it is a 3 carbon, right? It is not a PGA. Then with what it is? It is identified as, better you write down directly, identified as a dicarboxylic acids. A dicarboxylic acids which is having a 4 carbon. Which are those dicarboxylic acids? These dicarboxylic acids are nothing but malic acid and aspartic acid. what I am trying to tell you here is, with the great effort of the Kirchhoff, Hurt and Burr, actually what you have understood in Melvin-Kelvin cycle, in C3 pathway, the first stable product is PGA, means phosphoglyceric acid. How many carbons? They have 3 carbons. So they thought that maybe in all plants the first stable product is PGA having 3 carbons. So they have given the name as C3 pathway and they started calling the plants as C3 plants. So later with 3 scientists, Kirchhoff, Hurt and Burr, they thought that maybe in all plants it is first stable product is PGA or not. They want to test it. So they have done experiment on sugarcane plant. They have taken the sugarcane plant. When they have taken and first study sugarcane plant, they observed that in sugarcane plant the first stable product is not a PGA. It is not a PGA. Then they observed that then what it is produced means they identified as a dicarboxylic acids like OAA, oxaloacetic acid, or they have malic acid which is having 4 carbon compound, or it may be aspartic acid which is having a 4 carbon compound. So the first stable products which are produced in sugarcane, they are 4 carbon compound, they are dicarboxylic acids. It may be in some plants malic acid, in some plants it is aspartic acid. Now this is being supported by the scientists, the 2 scientists, experimentally verified by. What is the conclusion given by Kirchhoff, Hurt and Burr? This is experimentally verified by the scientist Hatch and Slack. A coordination of the 2 scientists Hatch and Slack. That's why C4 pathway is also called as Hatch-Slack pathway. It's also called as Hatch-Slack pathway. Okay, I hope you are getting it. C4 pathway itself is called as Hatch-Slack pathway. Why? Because Hatch and Slack, they observed that in sugarcane, experimentally they proved that the first stable compound identified as oxaloacetic acid, OAA. What is OAA? Oxaloacetic acid having 4 carbons. Okay, so in sugarcane plant the first stable product is nothing but a 4 carbon compound, not a PGA. What is that compound they identified? Oxaloacetic acid, which is having 4 carbons. Later oxaloacetic acid converts into malic acid or aspartic acid, which are also 4 carbon compounds. Experimentally confirmed by, concluded by, proven that yes, it is happening, assured by experimentally with the great effort of the scientist Hatch and Slack, and they supported the experiment done by Kirchhoff, Hurt and Burr, saying that yes, in sugarcane the first stable compound produced is OAA, that is 4 carbon oxaloacetic acid, that converted into maybe malic acid. In some plants, in some plant it is converted into oxaloacetic acid, converted into aspartic acid. Okay, so that is why C4 pathway also said to be Hatch-Slack pathway, right? And then later the major contribution in India, it was great effort by Professor V.S. Ramadas. Professor V.S. Ramadas studied great extent of C4 plants in India. He studied about a great extent of C4 plants in India. In India, C4 plants was majorly studied by Professor V.S. Ramadas. Okay, so Professor V.S. Ramadas, he studied about C4 plants, and he studied about how C4 pathway takes place, especially from our India. C4 plants, the great contribution is from the hand of V.S. Ramadas. Now also, like for IITs, for IIT Madras and for IIT Bombay, IIT Roorkee, now also still is alive. Professor V.S. Ramadas, such an eminent person. If he starts speaking about research, it will be wonderful conversation and wonderful information he will present on the dais. I saw him personally, Professor V.S. Ramadas, especially when he is giving a speech and one of the presentation at the time of international conference in IIT Madras. Such a great and very extraordinary eminent person, Professor V.S. Ramadas. Remember his great contribution about distribution and the study of C4 plants in India. Right, and right now let us continue further. Now in C4 plants, what occurs is called as C4 pathway. Right, now let us, before we study about C4 pathway, let us study about characteristics of C4 plants. Let us continue our study with characteristics of C4 plants. Okay, so let us study about characteristics of C4 plants. Let us study about characteristics of C4 plants. Now if you look at the characteristics of C4 plants, C4 plants, we find them growing. They grow in both tropical and subtropical regions. So let us start with the point that where C4 plants are distributed, where you find the growth of C4 plants. So if you look at C4 plants grow in both tropical regions as well as they find growing in subtropical regions. Right? Now apart from this, C4 plants, they tolerate high temperature. They tolerate high temperatures, that is from 30 to 45 degrees centigrade. They can tolerate, they can grow, they prepare their own food, they can grow even at highest temperatures. So temperature optimum will be 30 to 45 degrees. They tolerate high temperatures. Along with that, even they resist. C4 plants, they show resistance or resist drought condition. What is a drought condition? It's nothing but water stress condition. They resist a water stress condition. Okay, so what is the drought means? Lack of water. So whenever there is no rainfall for years together, then when there is no rainfall, then groundwater becomes very less. So water stress condition will be there. But still C4 plants can be found growing in such drought environment. Even though there is lack of water, even there is no much quantity of water, C4 plant can resist the drought condition, can resist what is called water stress condition. Okay, so here apart from this, even C4 plants also tolerates or they grow in, better you write down, C4 plants they grow in even high light intensities. They grow in high light intensities. Okay, C4 plants they find growing in the region where high temperature is there. Even though there is no water, they resist, and even you can find them growing in high light intensities. Right. Now apart from this, now if you look at almost, if you take, we say that C4 plants approximately 1500 species were identified which belong to angiosperms of 19 families, So across India, not only with the great effort of Professor V.S. Ramadas and with the effort of some other scientists who also studied about C4 plants. Now distribution of C4 plants in our country in India, if you look at some plants are identified as C4 plants, and if you look at the number, approximately the C4 plants identified as approximately we find 1500 species of C4 plants which belong to 19 families of angiosperms. Okay. Now, so here if you take, you know it very well, C4 plants if you look at, they fix double the quantity of, when you look at C4 plants, they fix, C4 plants, they have high productivity meaning what? Meaning they have high biomass production. How biomass production can happen? Because of high photosynthetic yield. What is the meaning of this? So they have more productivity rate, they produce more yield. Okay, C4 plants they show high productivity, meaning they produce more yield, and that itself is called high biomass production, meaning more food or more yield, more vegetables or more of food content we get it, more yield we get it. That's because of high rate of photosynthesis. So we find high photosynthetic yield than C3 plants. Very important. C4 plant they show high rate of productivity than C3 plants, or high rate of biomass or high photosynthetic yield than C3 plants. That's why we say that C3 plants are evolved from C4 plants. Or you can say biologically evolved from C4 plants, because C4 plants higher rate of productivity when compared with the C3 plants, right? Why C4 plants shows high rate of productivity or high biomass production? So the point related to C4 plants, C3 plants, have we discussed earlier? Yes, we discussed, where if you remember in plant physiology chapter, the first lesson, what is the transport in plants? Did you remember? At that time we discussed two important points. I told you about C3 plants, C4 plants. I told you that we are going to discuss about C3 plants and C4 plants at the time of photosynthesis, right? Now it's a time to recollect the important points what we have discussed. You know it very well. C4 plants fixes twice the quantity of carbon dioxide. Okay, in terms of carbon dioxide fixation, C4 plants fixes twice the quantity than C3 plants. Did you remember? Could you able to recollect the statement what we have discussed in transport in plants? Yes, what did we discuss there? When you talk in terms of carbon dioxide fixation, we discussed that C4 plant fixes twice the carbon dioxide, twice the amount of carbon dioxide, or twice the quantity of carbon dioxide. They fix more carbon dioxide when compared with the C3 plants. That's why C4 plants, as they take the twice the carbon dioxide, that's why they have high biomass production. What they have? They have high biomass or high productivity. Right, that's why they have high productivity. That's why they have high photosynthetic yield. Why? Because C4 plants takes twice the amount of carbon dioxide when compared with the C3 plants. And what is the other very important points? I wrote in note points also at that time, right? And even though they take the twice the carbon dioxide, but C4 plant loses only half amount of water. Half amount of water than C3 plants. Did you remember? That means they take twice the amount of carbon dioxide but loses only half amount of water, right? Whereas C3 plants, they take less carbon dioxide and loses more amount of water in case of C3 plants. That's why they have more productivity rate, or that's why they have more biomass, or they have more photosynthetic yield. Means they take the twice the carbon dioxide amount. Why? Because for the formation of the food, for sucrose starch formation, they need carbon dioxide. When they take twice the carbon dioxide, they fix more amount of the food when compared with C3. At the same time, they loses only half amount of water when compared with the C3 plants. That's why C4 plants, they show high productivity or biomass production. Okay, so this is about the characteristics of C4 plants. I say C4 plants grow in both tropical and subtropical region. They have high temperature, they tolerate, and they can tolerate even drought condition, and they grow in high light intensities. And nearly identified C4 plants are 1500 species, belong to 19 families of angiosperms. C4 plants have high productivity when compared with the C3. That's why C3 plants, we say generally biologically evolved from C4 plants, because the reasons are, we have two important reasons. That is, C4 fixes twice the quantity of carbon dioxide when compared with the C3, but loses only half amount of the water when compared with the C3. That's why they show high rate biomass production. Right? Now, these are nothing but characteristics of the C4 plants. Now, let us study about let us continue our discussion. Structural peculiarity of in anatomy of C4 leaf. Structural peculiarity in anatomy of C4 leaf. That means a leaf shows, anatomy of leaf shows entirely a different structural peculiarity. So here what is the structural peculiarity, meaning what? A different character, where this character is totally different, occurs very rare and not a normal character, then only it is called as peculiarity. Structural peculiarity means it shows some structural differences, very rare character. That is called structural peculiarity in the anatomy of C4 leaf. So what is that we will study now? So if you look at here, what is the structural peculiarity? That leaf, it shows what is called as Cranzi anatomy. What it shows, it's called Cranzi anatomy. Leaf shows Cranzi anatomy. What is the meaning of Cranzi? It's nothing but wreath. The meaning for this is nothing but, meaning is wreath. It arises from wreath. What is wreath here? Wreath is nothing but ring-like arrangement. Wreath is nothing but a ring-like arrangement. What you find about ring-like arrangement of what? Here you can see ring-like arrangement of bundle sheath cells. Ring-like arrangement of what you call a bundle sheath cells. So wreath means a ring-like arrangement. So what are arranged like a ring? Ring-like arrangement of bundle sheath cells. So that ring-like arrangement itself is called as Cranzi anatomy, and this is found in case of C4 plants in C4 leaf, and that is structural peculiarity, meaning that is the total a different character, very rare character can be seen, observed only in case of C4 leaf. Okay, so that's why it's called as Cranzi anatomy. Another very important peculiar character, meaning rare character. One peculiar character is Cranzi anatomy. One of the peculiar means what? Rare character, can be seen only in C4 plants, can be seen only in this category. That's called peculiar character. The first peculiar character observed in C4 plants is Cranzi anatomy. Another peculiar character means another rare character which is seen only in C4 plants is nothing but chloroplast dimorphism. What is the next one? Chloroplast dimorphism, meaning there are chloroplast is there, no doubt. Di means two types of chloroplast. Di means two, morphism means morphologically we find two types of chloroplast. So we find chloroplast dimorphism. So what are the two types of chloroplast? So here we say the two types of chloroplast are, first one as usual we know granule chloroplast. We know granule chloroplast means chloroplast with grana. What is grana? You know, files of arrangement of thylakoids within the chloroplast, it's called grana. So you know these are thylakoids. Each one is called thylakoid. So when thylakoids are placed one above the other, files of coils of arrangement of thylakoids itself is called as what? Grana or granum. Right? If the chloroplast contain grana, it's called granule chloroplast. Right? Chloroplast with granum is called granule chloroplast. But you can make it a capital letter, no problem. If you write small letter also, no problem. Granule chloroplast. Chloroplast with grana. Then another type what we find is agranule chloroplast. Agranule chloroplast. So what is the meaning of this? Granule chloroplast meaning chloroplast with grana. With grana. Right? What is agranule chloroplast? Agranule chloroplast meaning chloroplast without grana. Without grana. Without meaning there is no granum. That means what you can see here. So if you take in agranule chloroplast, so there is no granum. If it is no granum, Only what you find is nothing but no, not even thylakoids. Okay, thylakoids may be present here and there. Thylakoids may be present here and there. This is thylakoid. This is thylakoid. If all so here granule chloroplast means chloroplast with granum, meaning chloroplast is present. Agranule chloroplast means chloroplast without grana, means grana is not there. What is grana? Thylakoids arranged one above the other means it's called grana. But here agranule chloroplast, no grana. That means thylakoids are present here and there but not arranged in the files of coins. What else you find? Starch you find, ribosomes are present, proteins are present, lipid components are present, enzyme rubisco is present, stroma is present, all are present but no grana, without granum. Right? So where do you find? Granule chloroplast is present in, where it is present? As usual in the leaf. Where it is present? It is present in mesophyll. Granule chloroplast is present in mesophyll. Then where is agranule chloroplast is found in? Agranule chloroplast is found in bundle sheath cells. Bundle sheath cells. Very, very important. Very, very, very important. So try to remember. So chloroplast dimorphism is another structural peculiarity where a granule chloroplast with the granum is present in mesophyll. Agranule chloroplast means chloroplast without grana found in case of bundle sheath cells. So two types of chloroplast are present, with the grana mesophyll, without grana bundle sheath cells. So what are the two important structural peculiarities here? One is called Cranzi anatomy, other one is called chloroplast dimorphism. What is Cranzi anatomy? A ring-like arrangement of bundle sheath cells. We will draw bundle sheath cells. At that time you see rith means ring-like. Chloroplast dimorphism means two types of chloroplast. Granule chloroplast found in mesophyll, agranule chloroplast is found in bundle sheath cells. Now let us see this. So let us remember both the things. So what are the two things we have to remember? One is Cranzi anatomy, other one is chloroplast dimorphism. Chloroplast dimorphism. These two are structural peculiarities. Now let us draw the structure of the anatomy of the C4 plant. This is epidermis. As usual you find stomata. This is epidermis. Below this you find mesophyll cells, no doubt. In first year anatomy we have drawn the diagram for well for both dicot leaf and monocot leaf. Guys, I am telling you again, photosynthesis, you need to revise the points of cytology. Pigments, chlorophyll A, B, C, D, E, F, xanthophyll, okay, carotenes and phycobilins and all that. Pigments, when you talk, you need to talk about complete structure of chloroplast. Cytology chapter, you need to revise it once again, total cytology chapter. And pigments, when you say chlorophyll A, B, C, D and carotene, xanthophyll, you need to revise the plant kingdom, algae. So guys, structural peculiarity of C4 leaf means what are the two things? Cranzi anatomy and chloroplast dimorphism. So if you look at, anatomy of the leaf, we find epidermis, along with that we find stomata, right? Slightly below to this, what we find is nothing but mesophyll cells. We find mesophyll cells. Then down to this we find vascular bundle. Leaf, you know it very well. So you find xylem. These are nothing but xylem cells. What we find? In between xylem, what we find is nothing but phloem cells. So this is nothing but centermost vascular bundle. I am drawing with black color marker phloem cells. I am drawing with black color marker. Right, this is vascular bundle. So what we studied, Kranzi means ring-like arrangement of bundle sheath cells. Where are they? Here. So they are like ring-like arrangement of bundle sheath cells. So this is nothing but ring-like arrangement of bundle sheath cells. So here these are nothing but chloroplast, but this is agranule chloroplast. Why? Because bundle sheath cells. So maybe 2 or more than 2 or 3, more than 3 agranule chloroplast are present. So here it is like this. Right. So this is what is agranule chloroplast, and this is nothing but bundle sheath. So what you find in the center, this is nothing but a vascular bundle. What you find in the center is vascular bundle. What you can see here, this is called xylem, and black colored ones, what you find here, this is called phloem. Yes or no, right? Then down what you find again, lower epidermis. This also has stomata, right? Yeah. And in the center what you find is mesophyll cells, which contain palisade parenchyma. Then followed by what you find is spongy parenchyma. Right. So here also you find chloroplast. This is also parenchyma with large intercellular spaces. Now this total thing from here to here, this total thing is called as what? Mesophyll, and upper layer mesophyll cell is differentiated into two. This is called palisade parenchyma, and the down one is called the parenchyma with more intercellular spaces. This is what is called spongy parenchyma. You know it, this we have studied in anatomy, right? This is nothing but spongy parenchyma. So here what you find is mesophyll. Mesophyll is differentiated into palisade parenchyma and spongy parenchyma. So if you look at inside palisade parenchyma, you find chloroplast. You know it very well. Mesophyll cells contain more number of chloroplast or highest number of chloroplast. So this is nothing but chloroplast is present. The dotted lines what I am drawing here, they represent chloroplast. So these all are nothing but chloroplast. Both palisade as well as spongy, both are having the chloroplast. Right. Now if you look at mesophyll cell, very clearly differentiated into palisade parenchyma, spongy parenchyma. How do you describe long columnar structures? What you find is called palisade. The parenchyma with more intercellular spaces is called spongy. Spongy parenchyma, palisade parenchyma, both will come under mesophyll. Now what you find here, this is vascular bundle. This is what is called vascular bundle. Now about the vascular bundle what you find, this is called as a bundle sheath cells. The ring-like arrangement of bundle sheath cells. So this is nothing but anatomy of the leaf. So when you take here, this is what is called anatomy of leaf. Now you have to, you need to have very clear revision. You need to study first year topics and first year chapters. You have to be very thorough. For example, as we say, we are drawing chloroplast. Cytology, total chapter you need to recollect it. You need to revise total chapter of cytology. Why? Because there we studied about structure of chloroplast, chromoplast. What are plastids? Chromoplast, chloroplast, leucoplast. And in that again you know that amyloplast, alluroplast, ileoplast. Amyloplast means starch storing, right? Like that ileoplast, alluroplast. So you have to recollect all. Similarly we studied about pigments. Chloroplast contains pigments. What pigments? Chlorophyll A, B, C, D, E. Carotenoids, xanthophylls. These all pigments come under what? Chloroplast. Structure of chloroplast we study in the chapter called cytology. But about pigments, where we studied? Plant kingdom. Where in plant kingdom? Algae. Algae, what you find? Chlorophyceae, rhodophyceae, phaeophyceae. Chlorophyceae contains what pigments? Rhodophyceae contains what pigments? Phaeophyceae contains what pigments? Carotenoids, xanthophylls, chlorophyll A and C, chlorophyll A and D, or chlorophyll A and B. Where you find these combinations? That means you need to recollect, and once again you need to revise plant kingdom. Similarly, in this chapter even we are discussing about the anatomy part, structural peculiarity of anatomy of C4 leaf we say. In anatomy again you need to revise even anatomy chapter. Second year whatever the concept we are reading, we are studying related to first year concept, immediately today now we are discussing anatomy of leaf. What you have to do? Immediately you have to revise once again anatomy chapter. In anatomy chapter mainly what you need to revise? Dicot leaf, monocot leaf, where mesophyll is undifferentiated, means mesophyll is not divided into palisade and spongy, that is monocot leaf or a dicot leaf. Where you find bundle sheath cells, where you find bulliform cells, motor cells, what is their function, right? Rolling and unrolling of leaf lamina. Second year related concept connecting to the first year chapter, if you revise totally, your preparation becomes awesome. Any question from any corner of second year interrelated to first year question is given also, you will be in a position to answer. So now photosynthesis is going on. So photosynthesis is related to which chapters of first year? Cytology, plant kingdom and anatomy. For example, cytology you know that. Where you find? For example, cytology related question I will give you. What is the cytology related question? The question is, where you find highest number of chloroplast per cell or maximum number of chloroplast per cell? Where you find single chloroplast per cell is Chlamydomonas. Highest number of chloroplast per cell, where you find? The answer is, you know it very well, that is mesophyll having 20 to 40. That means each mesophyll cell contain, see this is mesophyll, each mesophyll cell contain 20 to 40 number of chloroplast. That means highest number of chloroplast per cell found in case of mesophyll, that is 20 to 40. Like that amyloplast, alluroplast, leucoplast, chloroplast and bundle sheath cells and all that. So you need to recollect cytology, you need to recollect plant kingdom and you need to recollect about anatomy. If you are studying for second year, again sparing time for revising first year's chapters, then you will become perfect master of any question interrelated with first year and second year chapter. Then you will become best in answering them, and definitely your hard work will appear at the time of grand test, because in grand test we will have a combination of both first year and second year related questions. Right. Now coming to this, what we are studying here, C4 leaf. General characteristics, you tell me what we are discussing here. Here you know this is upper epidermis and this is upper epidermis. Generally if you look at, this is lower epidermis, right. Generally if you look at
ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి జేఈఈ అయినా నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.